Alright, let's get this out of the way. These episodes are bad, and it's not because they're rushed or badly written. I mean, they kind of are, but no, it's because it's not what we were promised. If this is what we got in the first place, everything would be fine. In fact, these episodes are a lot like how it was back in season 1. You know, back when things were much more simple and fun. Actually, if you squint real hard, it's kind of the same ending too. Mermaids get captured, and Aaron and his pirate buddies go off and save them, but that's just being mean. Things have changed in season 2. We now have a story, a dramatic one. We have direction, and much like every episode likes to remind us, this is meant for a slightly mature audience. Because Aaron likes to say bad words like booty. Get it? Because he's a pirate, so he's looking for that booty. Come on, it's funny. The first half of the show has been amazing, and I was so excited for what was gonna come next. So as I watch these episodes and see that it's only about a baby crab named Hee getting lost, and Aphmau tries to go find it because she's the mother now, but she ends up getting kidnapped in the process. Yeah, I'm not really interested. The beginning of season 2 started off with Aaron and his crew starting to survive and keep Aphmau safe, but more threats keep adding on as they continue their adventure. We see posters of missing women, a mysterious mermaid, and another that has a familiar looking orb, which we all know. We've seen something like it before. Along with a whole island of people crying black tears, a phantom ship, person with a wolf mask terrorizing others, and a whole island that is run by an evil witch. There is so much to unpack here, and it's only getting better with time. So if that's the case, why do we have 5 episodes where the crew gets kidnapped by crabs, Aphmau gets worshipped like a god and befriends a tiny hermit crab named Hee who imprints on her, and now Aphmau is the mother, which causes Hee to get flung away, which causes Aphmau to run looking for it for the next 3 episodes. Only for Aphmau to get kidnapped in the process and sold to the Marines so they can lure Aaron out because it's his show now. Are you kidding me? In that same amount of time, we have had an actual story, but now I don't want to call it filler, but gosh, it really is insane just how much has changed in a short amount of time. The reason why I don't like these recent episodes is because it just comes out of nowhere, and it feels like we're padding for time for no reason. The crew got stranded on this island, and instead of learning more about Zane and doing some world building or having some fun treasure hunt or pirate adventures or something, the story decides that Aphmau hasn't had enough screen time, so she has to go do something stupid. But what could a mermaid do? Maybe make some friends in the local ocean, make some flower crowns and teach the sentient crabs to be nice? Nope, because Aphmau is Aphmau, she decides to wander off and do her own thing, and she gets separated from the group. This causes everyone to go after her so we can get to the next plot point. It just doesn't feel natural or fun to watch. It feels like they wanted Aphmau to be funny, so she got a little sidekick and runs off with the baby, but then it gets catapulted away for laughs. Which is so different compared to everything that was happening in the story. Yes, season 2 has its funny moments, but it was meant to be kind of serious. So to have this out of nowhere is just what? I mean, yeah, I kind of get it. This gives the story a way to finally get Aphmau alone without the soul echo so she could be saved. Because I guess Aaron needs more things to do? I don't know, I'm a bit dumbfounded. Especially because we just got some of the most amazing episodes ever with so much story and depth and characters. The first arc of season 2 was so good. I love the Umbral Ball, and seeing Aaron's backstory and meeting Lumi and her sister, that was so cool. Then we got to move on to the next story thread with the Soul Echo and the Sirens and the Moon Black Tears, and wow, Caspian is now a bad guy who works for some ocean god person. This is really exciting stuff. And then we have this wolf person looking for Aaron, which adds more stakes to the story, and with all this going on, it kind of shows that this might not have a happy ending, or really much time for these characters just to exist and be happy since there's so much going on. Only for all of that story to lead to this. I mean, yes, you could argue that the Umbral Ball arc was the same situation as this crab arc. It came out of nowhere, our crew got separated, and then somebody needed to go save the day, whether that was Aaron or Aphmau. So what's the problem? The problem is that the Umbral Ball arc was actually good, and the crab arc is not. The Umbral Ball was tenseful. We didn't know what was going on, and our characters stayed in character. Mostly. Aphmau, stop touching that woman's boobs. They didn't wander off just cuz or do anything stupid, and everything had a reason. Things didn't just happen to be funny or because it needed to happen for the story. No, our heroes went through every obstacle because they were stuck here. And we also had some amazing moments that tied together with the overall story and helped flesh out the world. Not to mention that everything here was tied to our characters in some way, which makes everything much more interesting. Evil Witch Mother wanted Aaron, same. Zeno wanted the Soul Echo, which Aphmau had in her possession. We also got to learn more about it and see our first siren. We also got to see Aaron's backstory, which was awesome. Zane met Lumi, the best character ever. And yeah, it was just all great. And what does the crab arc give us? So we learn a bit about Zane, and I guess there's a hermit crab and a land crab tribe, and also Edwin is weird. Cool! Since we're talking about this episode, I quickly want to mention this because it's important to me. This series was actually doing really well with its thumbnails, but for some reason they decided to clickbait us in episode 8. This scene never happens, by the way, and they definitely don't hold each other like this. Looking all lovey-dovey, come on guys, don't do that to me. A long-awaited reunion, they meet up and get dragged away because of the plot, give me a break. And the worst part, besides episode 9 being called Zane's Secret, even though Aphmau and the Tiny Crab are on the thumbnail, this is Zane's episode, why is she here? No, the worst part is that they're trying their hardest to actually make this work and to make it interesting. Zane exposition dumps on Aaron and lets him know pretty much everything. He originally worked for evil people because he wanted to learn more about magic. He became obsessed with it after he and his brother were adventuring out in the waters and found a magic lamp thing that gave wishes. And his brother wished to be a human and he never returned. Zane being able to breathe underwater is his own magic that he was able to conjure, and he's always tried tapping into more of that, but he's never knew how. And now being an outcast from his tribe for losing his brother, this is his moment to fully commit to it and learn magic. And that is so cool. I like that backstory. But where was any of this in episode 1 or any of the episodes? One of my biggest complaints about Mermaid Tale Season 2 was that our main characters felt a bit soulless sometimes. They felt like they were trying really hard to be what they originally were in Season 1, even though the story had shifted. But very quickly as the episodes progressed, they found their footing as they got more involved and got more scenes. Zane being one of the biggest problems as his only character trait was shiny. It got really annoying really quickly, but he had Lumi with him and they complemented each other really well. I loved these two together and I was excited. But now you're telling me that we could have had scenes of him reacting to magic that the evil witch used, or him reacting to the magical artifacts, or maybe even him trying to use magic to save Aaron and Aphmau. A scene with him pleading with the evil witch to teach him some magic or something. Like, there was so much potential with this, especially since magic is all around them. I don't care if he kept it to himself because it was personal. As a storyteller, you should have teased this as the episodes went on. Heck, you did that with Aphmau's character by constantly showing us and telling us that she's special in some way. And yeah, it's meant to come out as a surprise, like, oh, Zane can use magic. But because something so major just happened out of nowhere, it feels random and tacked on, because there was no build up to it. It should be a surprise for the character, yes, but for the audience, it should be something that was foreshadowed and all that other writing stuff that you do. Especially since Zane doesn't have much of a character, so you need to give him as much as possible. Now we know that Zane's whole purpose is to learn magic or meet someone to teach him magic. That's why he's a part of the crew. So let's see that. Speaking of the crew, why is Edwin here? And why did he build the mimic? At first, I was very confused on why we were spending so much time on him, but then I was like, oh, it's because he's gonna be part of the crew now. He's a quirky engineer, researcher guy who wants to learn everything. So it makes sense why he'd follow Aphmau around since she's a mermaid. And he was actually pretty useful when they were getting attacked. He made a bomb. That man should be dead. I wasn't too much of a fan of him, but I will admit, he's pretty cool. He's a great addition to the team. This also gives the crew more stuff to do and get them in more shenanigans with his inventions. But very quickly, felt like they didn't know what to do with him. The only thing he ends up doing is bombarding Aphmau with all these questions, and then she gets weirded out and annoyed by him. She then straight up says, huh, I get a weird feeling about that guy. Wow, that's some really subtle foreshadowing. After hearing all of Aphmau's complaints, Edwin changes his voice and tries to stop being annoying. Alright, sure buddy. She's not gonna let you hit. He doesn't even feel like the same person anymore since he's suppressing the quirkiness. He does all of this to change only just to get discarded later on, and he sells her out. When I first saw this, I thought they were setting him up to be working with Caspian or just some like double agent guy. Cause, you know, he can change his voice and do all this crazy invention stuff. I thought he'd be faking his personality, but no, he's just weird. So if that's the case, what's the point with all these scenes? Was there any point? Why do we spend so much time with them together if he was just going to betray Aphmau and leave? I guess it was to bond them and maybe make us care, so that way it gives Aphmau a partner so she wouldn't be alone? But he sold her out anyway, so you could have just had her get lost and be found by the rogue pirates anyways. Like, him being here doesn't add to anything. I don't know, I'm gonna assume that Edwin is gonna come back in the story somehow, maybe to help because he regrets his decision or something, because it just feels so weird that he gave up so quickly just because they told him he'd be allowed to do his special research. I mean, yeah, obviously it was important to him, but he seemed to not really care too much when all that was taken away in the first place. I don't know, it's hard to say, but he did say he had no friends when we met him. Maybe what happens is that he's really scared of the Marines and the people, so he had no choice but to betray her, but there weren't really signs of that either. He wasn't panicking at all about leaving the lab or traveling with pirates. I mean, obviously he was panicking because he was getting shot at with the cannons, but not really about the situation itself. He was just kind of vibing. Really hope this was not wasted time, because that's what it's starting to feel like. The more time we spent on haha rage baiting Zane and running around in circles to find Aphmau, the less time we spend to actually interact with the story. I don't want to call this arc filler, but it is starting to drag on, and honestly, if you take out like these 3 episodes, not much changes. We spent 3 episodes trying to find Aphmau and save the hermit crab tribe just to find out that Aphmau got kidnapped and is now a damsel in distress. That's kind of upsetting. Yeah, you could say the whole point of this was so we can get a break from the action and lore till we got back into it slowly, but I don't know, man, this was too much. 1 episode of downtime would have been fine. We get Zane's backstory, we hide out the island and make it a new base, we meet the hermit crabs and the land crab tribe, and we just vibe with them. We have fun, we bond a bit, we find some treasure, and we also talk about what just happened. That's the craziest part, honestly, and that's my biggest complaint. Everything that just happened, it just doesn't matter. Caspian and the missing women and the sirens, which is the same mermaid that Aphmau ran into back in episode 1, the moon black tears, Eren and Zane almost dying, but Aphmau being immune to the curse, we just don't talk about it. It's just not important anymore. I understand that in episode 6, it's clear that Eren doesn't want Aphmau to worry, but there's too much at stake now. Plus, you guys just almost died. I'm surprised Eren isn't just being like, yeah, so we ran into Caspian, that was crazy. There is so much at stake now. Eren being a wanted man is one thing, but now we have people looking for the both of them. They're in this together, but they just kind of forget everything and move on like it never happened. Edwin sort of brings it up when asking more about the mermaids, to which Aphmau corrects him to say that that lady they met was a siren, but that's literally it. They don't brainstorm or talk about the black tears, or about how the siren changed her look, or how her powers work, or anything. They just brush it off, which is crazy because Edwin is smart and he's a researcher. You'd think he would be asking questions about that. Maybe he can find a way to stop the curse or stop this whatever magic stuff. He could think of something, and then put him in a room with Zane. They're basically a power couple right there. This also could have been a really good moment, a perfect moment to have Aphmau really reflect on what just happened and question if she could have reached out to the siren, or if there are people you shouldn't reach out to and be nice to. Or maybe she could think about how leaving home was a mistake and her being here is causing trouble for other people, or just, I don't know, something like that. Just a bit more for her character because she doesn't have much to do or to think about. The show doesn't really want to give her more layers for some reason, and that's also my biggest complaint so far. Aphmau just doesn't really feel like herself, I guess, and that's because she's missing time to be in the spotlight. For a show called Mermaid Tale, she is sometimes just an accessory. Don't get me wrong, she does help out in the story, but it isn't focused on her. It loves to pretend it is with like the soul echo and all this other stuff, but Aphmau is basically a plot device. Yes, she does have her moments, like when she's fighting the evil witch mother, and when she gets to talk to Eren to snap him out of the mind control, and I loved her conversation with Zena. That was peak. Everything was lining up to bring her up and give her more time to shine, but fast forward to this pivotal moment where Eren faces off against Caspian and Aphmau is talking to the random siren, and it's nothing. It's disappointing. Obviously, it's a little bit of an exaggeration, it's not fully disappointing. What I'm trying to say is that Aphmau from then on just doesn't do anything in the story. Doesn't do anything with this information or what she saw, she just moves on from it. This should be an amazing moment because what? Aphmau originally saved this mermaid. Or has she? Who is this lady? Aphmau should be distraught and confused and trying to find answers, but she just sits there. Obviously, she can't fight back, but she could still talk and bargain or reach her hand out or offer herself up to save everyone. There's so many options, especially since this is kind of her fault because she originally saved this mermaid siren person and showed herself to her, and now she's being attacked by her. It's clear that she is an active protagonist, so she should do something. She fought during the Umbral Ball and even got frustrated with the evil mother witch. And even back in season 1, she ventures past the barrier because she's curious and wants adventure. She's always been proactive. Obviously, she stands around because she's stunned, but compare that with Eren and Caspian, that's what I wanted for her. These two are opposing forces, they're rivals. Eren first met this guy and had problems from the beginning. Then he came back and he was super sus, and Eren was ready to fight, but oh no, he's in a trap. Eren is about to die and Caspian gives this evil villain monologue. It's dramatic and now it's personal. He doesn't just want to kill Eren, he wants Aphmau, and most of all, he wants to embarrass Eren because he embarrassed him back at the docks because he's petty like that. Meanwhile, Aphmau wanders off doing a random side quest and then stares at the siren lady, and she's evil because of course she is, and she wants Aphmau because of course she does. And plot twist, that's the same version of episode 1. Oh my gosh, that matters because it's such a big deal because gotta keep watching and find out. I really wish that Aphmau got to just do more, to say more. Yes, Aphmau is scared, but this should have been a mirror of Eren's confrontation with Caspian. Eren is looking for a fight, that's what he always does, but Aphmau should try reaching out because that's who she is. She sees the best in people. She's an insanely good person, and regardless of who you are, she believes that you deserve kindness. We saw that when she helped Zena, but this scene is so short and all it does is just be vague. It mostly just repeats what we already know, and that's these villains just want Aphmau for no reason. Is it because she passed through the barrier? Because she lost her weird star-shaped scar on her shoulder? Maybe it's because she can use the soul echo. We don't know. And that's interesting, but what comes next is just a whole lot of nothing. There's so much interesting, but you do nothing with it. You'd think after everything that happened, this would be a pivotal moment in the story and things are going to either get crazier or start to wrap up, with Caspian's secret master possibly being our final antagonist, but it's not looking that way. The marine people seem to be more than just an obstacle, which I'm fine with, but it really feels like the story was now closing in and making it much more smaller in scale than before, with now the main focus being Aphmau and, her getting kidnapped and trying to get her back, and maybe to also clear Aaron's name or just run away and get Aphmau safe back home. But maybe that's not the case, because Aaron still has the map with the location of the mermaids, so that's gotta be important, right? And also we have this mysterious wolf mask person, which we still don't know anything about, which I'm gonna call out a little bit. The first time we saw this wolf, it was just their mask in shadow. The next time was when they showed the wanted poster and it was clear what they wanted. They were looking for Aaron. But in this most recent episode, they're just standing there menacingly. Oh, it's so scary because there's fire, I guess. It's supposed to be super suspenseful because this means the wolf person is getting closer. And yeah, I would hope so. It's been like 15 episodes. We've had nothing so far with this plot thread. And after going through all the nonsense, it's weird to see it back and just be exactly how it was with the scary music and everything. You can't just show up and act like things aren't different. We just had Aphmau become a mother to a hermit crab named Hee. This ain't serious anymore. The wolf being here just makes no difference. It doesn't add to the story or show us anything. The first time the wolf showed up was to tell us that it was here. The second time was to show that the wolf was looking for Aaron, and the third time should also showcase something like that, to keep our attention. We already know it's getting closer and it's still a threat. At least we should. I don't know, maybe it's been a while so we just forgot. Thankfully, out of all the things they got right, Aaron is one of them. They haven't butchered him in any way. He's good, he's great even. His character has been very consistent and there's no problems. It was clear from day one that he trusted his crew and he tolerated them, but he's open and a good guy, and yeah, he's a bit aggressive, but he's a pirate, so go figure. I also love his interactions with Zane and Lumi and Caspian. No notes, like it's great. Please make the other characters as good as him. But yeah, overall, things kind of suck, and I had such high hope for this season. I still do. The first 6 episodes were fantastic. It was going so strong. It was exactly what I wanted. And yeah, I was a bit hard on in the beginning, but that's because I knew what they could do. And guess what? They did it. With every episode, they were proving me wrong and showing all of us that they still had it in them to make a good story. The team knew how to make a good story and keep us engaged. And yeah, some things were a bit wonky, but it was exciting. It was only getting better until it wasn't. It seems like they kind of lost their way a little bit. I can only assume they took on too much and tried to steer the story in a different direction to save it, and now we're just stuck here. Which makes a little sense. If you've been keeping up with the community posts, you would know that there's been quite a few setbacks and scheduling problems, so yeah, I'm hoping the finale will be good, because yeah, we're almost there. There's not that many episodes left. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below. Alright, that's all I got, so see you all next time. Goodbye!